What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. Well. The Grim Reaper came for my stocks again today. Can any of you guys relate? So we saw the Russell 2000 absolutely rip for the last 3 days, and today it needed a little bit of a breather. So I wanted to take a look at all the different sectors and just see what held up, what didn't hold up. But before I jump into it, this is not financial advice, but merely my opinion for entertainment purposes only. But I hope that you learned something, and if you do, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton with the algorithm. I'm trying to, grow my channel. It's a pretty new channel, so I'd appreciate your help with that. And with that out of the way, let's get to it. So the bars, the candle bars right here is the S&P 500. You can see the S&P was down 1.42%. This is the most the S&P's been down in a single day in maybe all year. I'd have to check, but we haven't had one single 2% down day. This might have been it. At the same time, we could have some more fun tomorrow. So I'm very glad that once this rotation started to happen, I like de-risked. I had like a 20% cash position, and so far it's held me out of harm's way for the most part. I haven't taken a huge drawdown in my account thanks to that. Not to say that I didn't try to get back in and then get blown out and then a little bit of that going on. But anyways, you got the S&P right here. Down here in the orange, you got the Nadaq. Absolutely got crushed today. That's on the bottom. Purple is biotechs. Biotechs got sold off a little bit today. Next one up is industrials. Basically track the S&P by the end of the day. And then above that, you have the Russell 2000. It was down 1% today. But, this is my takeaway before I jump into these other ones. On a day like today, where there's a lot of, after it runs for the run that it's been on the last few days, and then we have, the S&P and the Qs taking a nosedive, it held up pretty well. It was pretty resilient despite the volatility, all things considered, especially after the run it's been on. So I'm starting to think that we could see this theme play out for the rest of the quarter, perhaps the rest of the year. So I've been taking little chunks of the Russell 2000, and I basically have half a position built up today. I bought into it, and we're going to see where we are tomorrow and maybe by the end of the week, and I'd like to complete my position. I'm going to get into the levels later, but there's a certain entry point, like my sweet spot where I'd like to collect some shares. Okay, moving up here, we have IVE. This is the Vanguard. I think it's Vanguard. IVE. Where are you? iShares Value ETF. S&P 500 Value ETF. This held up even better than the rest of these. Didn't sell off. It was actually up today. Energy was up. Consumer non-cyclicals, consumer staples was up. You also have SCHD, the dividend, Schwab dividend, did all right as well. So if you think things are going to be volatile, on a day like today, this is, bad as it gets, lately anyways. And these, survived the storm. They weathered the storm. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these during these volatile days to see how they hold up. They might be, something to consider. I really do think we're going to head into a summer and early fall of volatility. Leading up to the election, I just think that it's going to be a bit chaotic. However, I'm starting to become a believer in this Russell 2000 trade, so I am building some exposure to that. Now, before we dive into the, here, let's take a look at the heat map real quick. So I just want you to see all of the sectors. So, pretty much pretty much everything was not doing too well. Somehow regional banks just kept going. Financials were good. I made some good money on TZA and TNA today. There was a lot of volatility. I was trading around with that. I kind of, mitigated to a small degree some of my losses today by trading these. You can see real estate did all right. Healthcare did all right. But look at this. SMH, the SOX got socked. My beloved SCHG got hit 2.5% today. So, yeah, not a good day. Probably in tech, 3.8%. So not a good day in the market for the most part. But, if we take a look at the SPY real quick, you can see we were cooked on the RSIs, and this helped bring us down. I don't know if this is going to be enough. And if I'm being honest, I'd like to see us actually cool off even more so I can start picking up shares. Let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly, we're still pretty cooked on the weekly. So I wouldn't expect this to stop. The continued volatility, we could see the SPY come down a little bit. So let's take a look at the charts. All right, let's start with NVIDIA. NVIDIA took quite a hit today, but I actually picked up some shares, and I'll tell you why. Right now, we are under the GAN level, post-market, 117. I think it's overdone. We got into the ARC, rejected out, tried to get over the ARC, rejected out, over the ARC, and then rejected out, and we keep hitting this GAN level. And I want to see this level hold. Now, right now, we're a buck under, which makes me a little bit nervous. However, we do have this fib channel right here, so it could be coming down to tap that and then move up. Even if it comes down, even if it comes down to like, I doubt it would come down to $100, but even if it did, this thing moves so fast. I would be shocked if by end of year or by like earnings, I just don't think that we're gonna undo the big move we did after the last earnings. We were at $94. Are we really gonna come back to $100? I mean, I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked. And once earnings hits, I mean, this thing's off to, at some point, this thing is off to the races, is the moral of the story. So I'm not too concerned about it. We could see some more, trouble. But thankfully, my position, I got 100% gainer this year on it. So I pretty much just have profits plus a little bit in this position. So I did add to it a little bit today, though, because I do believe that this level is going to hold, but we'll have to see. Even if it comes down and hits the cloud, like, I'm sure that it wants to hold this level going into earnings, or like maybe into earnings it'll recover and then push forward inside of this channel or something. But we'll have to wait and see. But right now it is post-market. It's a little bit under the GAN level, but I like this level as sort of like a magnet, because we didn't just get up and over this for no reason. And we almost went further. Moving on, we got Tesla. Tesla holding up on the Ichimoku. It's holding the GAN level of 244, which I like. But it is kind of an indecision situation. Let me just take a look at some of the levels that I drew. So it's holding over 250. Well, actually, so in post-market, we're under. So, it's a nail biter. We're in a nail biter situation. We did come down off of the, the RSI. We do have a bit of a MACD curl-over occurring on the way. So, watch out. I would watch, the 245 level very closely. If we break under, we could be coming down to like 229, something like that. I I'd be really surprised if we just undid all this. And I do think Tesla, I still think Tesla is one of those stocks that Wall Street is, they don't want to be underweight on it because it hasn't performed like well the first half of the year, and it's coming to life right now. And with interest rates coming down, car sales are going to be going up. So I think they're not going to want to like just sell this one out like they did some of the other stocks. So let's take a look at some of those. Microsoft closing under the Kijun-sen, holding the 440 level pretty well. Post-market we're at 444. I took a couple bites. I got stopped out up here. It came all the way down, and I bought a couple more shares. I just don't think we're coming all the way down to this GAN level again. It could happen, but I'm just waiting to kind of build up my shares. This is a decent entry zone, to be honest, if you ask me. I mean, we got up over all this stuff for a reason. So I still have a target, end of year, at least 475, but I like to see 500 by end of year for Microsoft. Meta getting rejected out of the ARC, pushed into the cloud, and now we're sitting at 462. So we were, how the mighty have fallen. Let's take a look at this. Meta was looking so good up here, and then it just absolutely fell off the face of the earth. I guess going into earnings, they don't want to experience another one of these. Yeah, I'm waiting and seeing with Meta. I want to see going into earnings. Like if we actually come down and touch the fib arc or this GAN angle, that's when I'm going to be buying. So, and actually here I'm going to mark this level off. 440 would be my buy level. Kind of interesting. So we did close above here, but let's just take a look at post hours. So yeah, I mean we're still coming down after hours. We have a fib fan here at 448, and this fib fan, I mean this one seemed to hold up for the day, and then it's still going down. So 440 is my level to watch. I'm gonna create an alert. Boom. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon I've been kind of lucky with. I caught the move up. I took profits, and then now we're sitting, actually here I want to look at, so yeah, we got rejected out of the ARC, not a good look. And we're basically sitting at the high of this consolidation that we had before the breakout. So this could have been a false breakout, but I just don't think, I'll be very lucky to get, let's just put it this way, I'll be very lucky to get shares at like 185. I currently have half my position on, and I bought in right at the highs right here prior to the breakout. I'm hoping that I get 185. I'm hoping for it. I know if you have Amazon shares, you're probably mad at me. But I think Amazon 215 is almost like a lock for the for the end of the year. We do have a GAN fan right here at about 180 that should serve as some support. So I'm actually going to create an alert and just do this. We'll do 181. This GAN fan should serve as some level of support if it even gets down that far. And if you're looking at fib levels, I mean, 165, but come on, that ain't gonna happen. Let's just look at the daily here. I mean, RSI's coming down. We do have a MACD crossover. But here, let's take a look at the weekly. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I'll be lucky to pick up shares at like 185, 181, somewhere in there. So I'll just be watching the price action if it makes it into that buy zone, and I'll be picking up shares. But yeah, you could see, you know, we got down far. We're closing up. Actually, after hours, we're at like 188. So it's holding that top of the line prior to the breakout. Let's take a look at Google. Google closing below Kijinsen. So this one too, kind of look out. We didn't even get up to the arc yet. We pretty much closed right at the midway of this fib channel, kind of like we did here. So, I mean, you could see once we did that, the next day it just went straight into the arc. I'd be shocked if that actually happened this time. I mean, at least in this case, it was consolidating higher. This one is just turning over. Very scary. Costco. Costco actually is holding this level really well. 838. It seems to not want to break below it. I'm going to pull up my chart here. Costco, one of my biggest holdings. I've had it for the longest time. Just won't sell it. Just won't sell it. RSI got cooled off now. Let's look at the daily. It's very cool on the daily. And this fib fan, or this GAN fan, is holding up. I've actually thought about adding more shares here, but like, I just don't want to touch it. It's already 10% of my portfolio, so, or at least my one of my portfolios, the one that I actually actively move things around in. But yeah, this GAN fan does seem to be holding. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little shock down to like 838 again, but Costco actually held up decently today, so I'm not too concerned about Costco. Not too concerned about Costco. Let's take a look at Netflix. We got earnings tomorrow, so let's take a look here. So the cloud is right here at 625, and you see all this price pressure, the previous high of this move, it's all at 625. So if I get an opportunity to buy some shares at 625, I think that is what I'm gonna do. We'll have to see what happens. You know, if it runs away, if it runs up to 700 or something like that, that would be kind of crazy. I really don't think it'll happen. I do think it's more likely that we see a 625 Netflix. Eli Lilly, this thing was holding up so good. It was doing great. And then, oof, I wake up today and I'm like, wait, what? It was like 962 a couple days ago. It did bounce off of Kijinsen, and it closed inside of this fib level. So, I mean, is the pain over? I don't know. This is a big red volume bar here. I sold one of my shares, and like I missed a bunch of this, so I avoided a lot of this. And I'm actually considering buying back into it, getting my share back. I'm gonna have to watch the price action tomorrow. Let's just take a look at like the hourly and see if we see any. Okay, so we had a big flush, push, and curl over. So yeah, this fib level doesn't seem to be holding up, and 880 is on the table. If I see 880, I'm probably gonna pick up a share at that point. All right, let's take a look at Broadcom. This thing got hit hard today too. Mag 7 just go. Oh my God! Talk about a fallen knife. Let's see if we can guess the bottom. Oh God. Okay. So yeah, this 156 level does seem to be holding for now. Next level down, though, is like 140, and the cloud is sitting at 135. So, you know, if you've been waiting to get into Broadcom, you know, it's hard to say. That looked like a falling knife, so I would be very hesitant to just buy in tomorrow. Maybe wait and see if you can get it at 140. That seems like a better entry point, because at least you have some like consolidation and a base right here. But yeah, chips getting hit hard today. CrowdStrike. I've been out of position with CrowdStrike because I do keep a kind of a close eye on this, and I got out like at the 375 mark, and we did close the gap. I don't know why it's not showing there was a gap here. We closed the gap, and you know, let me just pull it up on my chart here, because I got some levels that I have my eye on. The top of the cloud and the 61.8% fib level is right here at 347. I'll be re-entering my position if I see CrowdStrike at 347. I picked up some shares right here just in case, and I do have a pretty high price target on this thing. I want to see 400 by the end of the year. And this GANFAN, I mean, I think 400 is on the table for this stock. My prediction during the election season, we're already seeing it. There's a lot of cyber attacks happening, and I think there's going to be a turning point where all these corporations are going to be like, okay, we can't afford to not have CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, like the big dogs. We can't afford not to fork over some money to pay for proper cybersecurity. So I do like this 347 level. We might not see it. It hit 350 today, and it bounced back up to 355, 357. However, I don't think the move is 100% over, because we did fill the gap and move a little bit higher. I also think there could be, keep an eye out, there could be a rotation into software. Hardware, there's a lot of news on it. I'm not going to get into it, but like the chips, tariffs, all that good stuff. You might see like smaller software names like this get some love, or like large cap but not mega cap. You might see them get some love. So keep your eye on that. I'll be keeping my eye on that. All right, let's take a look at SOFI, because SOFI had a very interesting day today. So yesterday we pushed into the arc and we almost hit the top of the arc, and then we came back down. Today we opened at the top of the cloud outside of the arc and pushed right back up to the arc. Almost got over this GAN level for a moment, and then closed back into the arc. So a lot of strength in this name. Financials are doing well, small caps are doing well. This thing was resilient today. I added to my position, and wow, what a trade. I mean, I'm still negative, sadly enough, on this name, because I've been buying it all year. But I did take a pretty decent chunk right here, because I noticed that this GAN angle was holding. And yeah, I mean, it's been a thing of beauty ever since. So I'm still looking to this to the upside. If it can break through like 790, if it can close over $8, keep watching it up. All right, let's take a look at silver miners. Shout out to my new subscriber. Let's see here, silver miners ETF. I'm going to draw a GAN box real quick. Silver miners. Okay, so it looks to me like we're through the arc, so that's good. It looks like it's still trying to get over these highs. It can't seem to close really over these highs, the highs of these wicks. 37.18, like 37.20, we'll call it. That's the next GAN level, and the arc is nearby at 38.10. It looks like it's the momentum is higher, like wants to push higher, but I think there's just people shorting this thing, thinking that it won't go up there. But yeah, I would say, depending on how long you've been in this name, if you've caught a lot of this move, a good profit target here is like 37.20. Keep an eye on the price action. Let's just take a look at the hourly just to kind of see. So a base is forming right at about 35.50. So that's good. It is under, the hourly is under the Kijun-sen. Let's just take a look at the 4-hour. So the 4-hour closed today, oh boy, like right on the Tenkan-sen, maybe a little bit below it. So keep an eye on this 35.50 level. If you see like a break, especially to like 35, especially if it hits like 35.10 or like 34.99 or something like that, we could be coming back down to the arc. And yeah, this 37.20 level is sort of where it wants to get to. Now, this was on light volume, the second half of the day, and this is a big reversal candle that happened this morning. So, yeah, this 35.48, 35.50 level, it's a key level to watch for the silver miners. All right, you guys. So that's kind of the rundown. Keep an eye out. Have some smart stop losses. Maybe build up a cash position. That's something I did because I do feel like there's going to be some crazy moves happening. Trade smart and good luck in these markets. If you like the video, please like the video. It helps me out so much. Comment below if you'd like to, me to look at a chart that, want me to analyze a chart that you are looking at. And if you've watched a few of these videos and you've enjoyed them, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to build this channel. It's pretty new. And with that said, Ryan out.